And Wysocki just short as well.
And welcome back. We apologize, everyone. It sounds as if there was a slight glitch over on the YouTube server side, which is why you are hopefully just now rejoining us. We saw Paul McBeth miss his putt a moment ago, as did Wysocki.
We apologize for some of the technical difficulties that we've had. We are doing our best to get everything back up and running right now.
What seems as if is the issue is there was something that happened on the YouTube side, so we are
just trying to figure that out right now.
Yeah,
we're going to throw it over to Dixon Jowers, who is out on the course. Hear what he's got to say. Dixon, what we got going on out there?
A couple of interesting things are happening right now. Emerson and Ricky have kind of switched those positions about who's the main chaser. Ricky's had a couple of chances for some big kind of Ricky-style putts to put some extra pressure on Paul, just barely off on the last couple, or on hole 6 and hole 8. Now, before the round, Ricky said, if I can just get it within a couple heading into the back 9, I'm right back in this thing, and I like my chances. So he's accomplishing that. Emerson said something really interesting on the tee of hole 7. As I was walking up to them, he said to his caddy, "I'm not in a bad spot." And I thought, okay, good. You know, he's kind of settled down and knows what he's doing. But then he said, "I'm just fighting for third now. Top 10 was my goal." So Emerson seems to have, I don't want to say given up on the idea of winning, but he's focused on just individual strokes and not worried about what Paul's doing and not worried about putting pressure. He's just trying to do the best that he can. Let's head over to the hard bridge hole. See if anything happens. We've had some big swings on this hole before. See if Rick can put a little extra pressure on Paul.
And welcome back, everyone. We are here on hole number 9, again, trying to get everyone, this is going to be a little bit of a task. We're trying to get all of the viewers that had joined us and were part of the broadcast with us to move over. This new stream is up and running. Hopefully we won't have any issues. We did see Paul McBeth miss his putt for birdie. We also saw Ricky Wysocki miss his putt for birdie, and that's why we have Ricky Wysocki here on the tee with the honors of hole number 9.
Hole 9 playing at 354 feet. Currently playing at a 3.05 scoring average. Rick needs this to move left. It's done exactly that. He has absolutely parked the bridge hole. He's put the pressure back on McBeth's shoulders to match his effort. This looks to be buzz for McBeth. Good looking shot from McBeth that scoots up to 20 feet. Conrad has AVR for his tee shot here. This is low for Conrad. He's asking for it to go. He gets a little bit of a fake out with a red flag, gets the green flag. He'll be moving to the island. Emerson Keith last to tee. Keith playing it nice and safe out to the left. We'll join you back from the green after I hear a word from our sponsors.
Zuka is now producing limited edition color choices. Zuka can add custom embroidery to the front and/or sides of the bag. Zuka is now producing limited edition color choices. Zuka can add custom embroidery to the front and/or sides of the bag.
When I need to check the wind, I just let out my hair.
Disc golf is 90% mental. The other 10% also mental.
If you want to make new friends on the course, pick up someone's disc in the fairway by accident.
Stay getting birdies, my friends.
And welcome back. The gallery giving a loud applause as our players are approaching their lies.
This will be Emerson Keith from Circle 2. Keith with a good effort from range, unable to convert.
It looks like we've got some pretty excited fans out there. Nothing that I love more than an organized effort to come out and support your favorite players. I'm going to go. We also saw Emerson Keith throw his putt. He did not connect on it. Here's James Conrad.
Conrad goes AVR for the birdie 2 here on hole 9. Not something that a lot of players can say at 354 feet. And Beth converts for the birdie as well. Wysocki has just a tap in left to keep himself within 3 shots of the lead. Emerson Keith is going to drop in the lone par here on hole 9. Move on over to hole 10, 450 feet. Playing on the easier side of holes out here, our players are looking to throw something usually overstable toward the right side trees that finishes left toward the green. We've also seen some huge forehands out on the left side that filter back to the right. There is out of bounds to the left, as well as a wood line to the right that can be pretty thick if our players find it too early. All in all, though, this is a relatively attackable hole as we see 30% of the MPO field carding the birdie 2, 67% taking par. So not a whole lot of danger for our cut field so far today.
You see the gallery getting into position. There's a road directly behind them. But right now, I don't know if we've ever seen this many people in Lake Eureka, or in Eureka, I should say, or in the lake for that matter. Hopefully not. Hopefully we never see that many people in the lake. Here's Ricky Wysocki.
Ricky's taking more of the hyzer flip. This is tracking back right. And that's well executed by Wysocki. He'll be about 30 feet away for his birdie putt. Macbeth. Playing to the right side here, waiting for this to finish.
Yeah.
Seemed to stay in the air for forever, but he is right next to Wysocki putting for his birdie as well. Once again, we apologize for the technical difficulties, but we would very much appreciate if you would like and share out this new stream. We were up to 12,000 viewers before we got cut off. So we would love to get back up to that if you are able to do so. We appreciate it. And we thank you so much for tuning in. T-bird for Conrad. And that's just drifted a bit right for him. Emerson Keith will be last to tee, and this is an Explorer. Emerson Keith has this tracking straight and is just outside Wysocki and Macbeth. Got James Conrad here. He is probably only 45 feet from the basket, but will likely have 1 foot inside the bushes and trees here on the right side. Conrad just misses high left. Keith sitting at 4 over par on the day. Really needs to convert this to get his round back on track. Currently in a tie for 5th place with James Conrad. Keith's step putt is over the left side rim, just not high enough to get in the basket. Macbeth from right around 30 feet. Macbeth with a fist pump, knowing that he needs to convert here to keep his momentum going. It's going to move him to 3 under par on the day. Pardon me, 4 under par on the day. Wysocki to move to 7 through 10 here from a couple of feet inside Macbeth's drive. He converts as well, and we've got ourselves a battle. Though Macbeth is still in the driver's seat, he may be like distracted a bit at the wheel. He's not entirely in control, as we've got a charging Ricky Wysocki taking only 3 pars, carding 7 birdies on the other holes.
Well, and if you notice the reaction from the gallery, it seemed as if a little bit louder, more audible for Ricky Wysocki. So maybe there's that underdog tone right now, or the comeback tone that's being charged in by Ricky Wysocki. But it seems like the gallery is really behind him. We're going to move over to one of the easier holes found on the course. You have to expect birdies by everybody, but what do they need to do here, Robert?
Yeah, 300 feet, I feel like it plays like a little bit closer to 270 feet or so. This is playing as the easiest hole on the course for our cut field, 2.37 scoring average. Nearly 2/3 of a stroke under par. This is going to be a forehand for most of our competitors, maybe a backhand turnover for James Conrad. But more than 2/3 of the field today has carded the birdie 2, only 4% carding bogey or worse. So the combination of holes 9, 10, 11, and 12 are a string of par 3s right in a row. But before you cross over to the backside and a few more difficult holes, these are certainly holes that our competitors are looking to take advantage of. And we've seen that already from both Ricky Wysocki and Paul Macbeth, 2 under through the first 2 of those holes. Pro pig for Wysocki, that he's asking for that to go. Go it has. Wysocki sits at 15 feet for his birdie. This looks to be force for Macbeth. Good shape for Macbeth. He's going to get the friendly roll to right by Wysocki. They're just going to maybe hold hands and skip up to those discs just like they did on hole 10. These guys are trading blows here so far today. As expected, Conrad with one of his signature series AVRs. Smooth turnover, but a bit low. That's going to be just fine, right around circle one's edge, maybe 33, 35 feet, somewhere in there. Keith with a smooth forehand. And just outside, Wysocki and Macbeth.
Disc golf is a relatively young sport, but its popularity makes it one of the fastest growing pastimes in the world. The PDGA is a not-for-profit, worldwide player organization dedicated to promoting the sport. Like a long drive off the tee, disc golf is soaring. So don't just be a witness to disc golf's explosive growth, be a part of it. Join the PDGA.
The only backhand off the tee, this will be Conrad for his look at birdie 2. Conrad in the center of the basket.
Our Sandy Point Resort and Disc Golf Ranch replay, James Conrad. High, just a bit on the high side, but it pulls it down.
He gives a friendly wave to the gallery there. James is a friendly guy. Emerson hyzer putt into the center. Ricky in for his birdie. Looks like we've got all the makings of a star frame here for our lead card. And Macbeth completes that. We've got a long walk over to hole 12's tee, so we're going to stand down for a word from our sponsors. We'll rejoin you in just a couple of minutes.
SmashBoxxTV would like to thank the following sponsors: the PDGA, Infinite Discs, Discraft, the DGA, Prodigy Discs, the City of Peoria, and all of these other generous sponsors.
Introducing TrueDisc, an innovative new scorekeeping app for your smartphone. TrueDisc ensures that you get the most accurate data possible at all times. Not sure if you walked a little bit too far when you measured your last throw? TrueDisc stamps every misrepresented throw with our trademarked Internet Distance badge before you can share it to social media. Buy TrueDisc in the App Store or Google Play for just 4 easy payments of $19.99 plus shipping and handling. But wait, there's more! Call in the next 20 minutes and upgrade to TrueDisc Pro for free. TrueDisc Pro allows you to get honest advice from the AI Pro of your choice.
Hey, Germ, think I can make it over the pond?
Yeah, sure, Simon. Go for it.
I'm Andrew.
You know what? Go for it, but go for it with a Big Germ Thunderbird. That way you can buy another one after you throw this in the water.
Paige, should I throw a putter or a mid-range here?
So what is going to give me the most confidence to hit the gap? Will it be the soft beat of a putter? Will it be the sharper edge of a mid-range? Everyone was cheering Mugs and Smugs. Man, it was so awesome. One of the best moments of my life.
Paige, I'm going to go ahead and throw.
Hey, Eric, should I throw a Felon here?
Felons are awesome!
Well, yeah, but I mean, is it the right disc for the shot?
Felons are awesome!
All right! Hannah, what did I get there?
You got a 7, Dave.
Put me down for a 5.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
Go to udisc.com and use the code TrueDisc to get the real UDisc Pro free for 1 month.
Bag tags are a great way to get the word out about your local disc golf scene or event. With the included loop, both traveling players and locals can represent your local scene wherever they go. And ordering is easy. The minimum quantity is 25 tags with discounts for larger orders. You can use your own artwork or we'll help you with the design. The tags are made of a durable plastic and are about the size of a credit card. With optional 2-sided printing and discounted prices for non-numbered tags, we've got enough options to make your tags fit your budget. Head to dynamicdisc.com to get started with your order.
Poison ivy's itchy rash ruins the best day outdoors. Zanfel gives immediate relief, washes away the toxin, stops the horrific itch. Safe for kids and pets. No downtime. Got poison ivy? Get Zanfel. It works.
Welcome back, everyone. Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy, alongside Robert McCall. Robert, thank you for, I know you've taken over a few of the shot calling, which I think is what you're known for, shot calling.
That's what I've always wanted to be, as a shot caller.
You definitely are. So thank you for taking over that. I'm trying to work with Johnny V here behind the scenes. Make sure we have the streams available. I think there's actually 2 streams that are heading out there. So if maybe you're watching one and your friend stumbles upon another, either way, would be really cool is if somehow we got to like 10 or 15,000 on both streams. Yeah, talk about mind-blowing. But so thank you again. A little bit of a YouTube hiccup there that brought some things down for us. Paul Macbeth is still your leader, though. He has that 3-stroke advantage over Ricky Wysocki. Wysocki just shredding. I mean, you're talking 8 under, and we're moving over to the water tower hole, so he's on pace for a really solid round. Paul Macbeth, not quite as solid, but he's definitely playing some really good golf. And then Chris Dickerson, he's shooting that 5 under, which isn't necessarily blazing, but it seems to be enough to be pushing him up the leaderboard. And Nate Sexton already in the clubhouse. Nate Sexton sits at 11 under for the round. That brings him to a cumulative score of 33 under. He's likely going to be in that top 5 or top 7 by the end of the round here. So congratulations. Nice, really strong push at the end there by Nate Sexton.
Wysocki with a clean hyzer around the water tower and just absolutely parked. Wysocki is on a mission right now, and look at this guy. He's excited too.
The Weird Al, is that a Raptor reference? A Weird Al?
It kind of looked like it. I liked it.
I'm guessing that it is. You know we've hit big time when we have official Weird Al Raptor references.
That's right.
From the fans.
Yeah, you know, the disc golf fandom, one of the most colorful groups of people you're going to be around.
We'll see how Paul McBeth responds to Wysocki's park job.
Looks to be force for McBeth.
And
looks to be parked for McBeth. I mean, it's kind of getting to the point now where these guys let go of the disc, and you're just like, yeah, okay, that's parked. Oh, that's parked. Is the game really even fun like that? I wouldn't know.
I mean, what's the challenge? I mean, if you never have to scramble, if you never find yourself in the woods, really, what's the challenge out there?
Yeah, who wants to have a perfectly clean scorecard? This looks to be Firebird for James Conrad up the hill. And 3 of the best tee shots you're going to see on this hole. This is playing at 354 feet, but because of the uphill tee pad and obviously the uphill slope of the shot, plays close to 400. Quite a technical drive for people who aren't at the very top of the game. I will say for those of you who are sitting at home and you're thinking, I can throw 354, so I would park this hole. I'm telling you right now, I've played this course a couple of times. It is much more difficult than it looks. Keith last to tee. Low and a bit inside. Needs some good action off of the water tower.
Uh-oh. And that's going to roll towards the out of bounds. It's not going to come back in. And from there, he'll move to the drop zone and all but guaranteeing himself the bogey 4.
Nice shot. Was that a Raider?
Yep. Good little bit of turn and then a nice strong fade. Hey man, I've been meaning to talk to you about your pre-shot routine. It's a bit excessive, don't you think?
You think so?
Yeah, I mean, in a tournament you only get 30 seconds.
Wait, really?
Yeah, really.
Oh. That bird just razzed me. I gotta restart.
Emerson Keith with a great shot from the drop zone. Want to leave him an opportunity for his bogey 4. Everyone else is actually inside of that distance for their opportunity for birdie 2. This is the spot where you want to collect as many birdies as you can before you move over to the par 5 starting on hole 13. And a lot of the more difficult holes are on the back side. The back, in fact, 6 of this course, holes 13, 14, and 18 coming in as 3 of the more difficult holes that our competitors will play today.
Well, and when I'm looking back at the scorecard, thanks to UDisc, I see that Paul and Ricky have gone essentially shot for shot in every single instance, really, except for hole 5.
Yep.
The baseball field hole where Ricky Wysocki, of course, clears the field. He takes the birdie 2. Paul McBeth can't get up and down from the drop zone, takes the 5. Almost every single hole. Otherwise, they have gone stroke for stroke with that 3-stroke difference only being on hole 5. This is for Paul to match Ricky here on hole 12.
Dead center for McBeth, never a doubt.
And Emerson walks away with the bogey. That's going to push him down to 30 under par, giving him 2-stroke deficit to James Conrad. I believe we're going to hear from Dixon Jowers before our players take the very long walk, and Wysocki's in with a huge smile. Who says he doesn't show emotion?
Well, it's not full on just yet, but you can hear the Russians starting to say, Rocky, Rocky. There's a definite feeling for Rick in the crowd. People are very appreciative of what Paul's doing, and they will definitely cheer his good shots, but there is an excitement when Ricky performs something good, even to the point when he was walking off of the bridge hole. As they're approaching the green, all of a sudden the crowd erupted into applause, cheering Ricky's name, and then it kind of died down, and somebody said, "And go Emerson," and a few people clapped, and then another guy said, "Go everybody," and nobody clapped. So the crowd is starting to get behind Rick. Let's see if he can make it a little bit closer. 3 strokes down. Paul's matching him bird for bird. Ricky's got the box go. Let's see if he can put a little bit of pressure on Paul with the drive, the second, the putt here on the long par 5 13th.
Well, now we're about to head over to that last 1/3 of the course. That's exactly what I was sensing as well from the crowd out there when Ricky had made a putt. Paul made a similar putt, but the chant or the crowd reaction was just a bit louder for Ricky. Do you feel like that's an underdog situation, that he came back from 6 strokes? Do you feel that there's maybe that much of a, we'll say, a sponsorship difference? What do you think that might be attributed to? Anything?
Sure. I don't think it has as much to do with the sponsorship as it really does just the underdog story, like you said. Anytime that a tournament like this is a runaway, it's fun to watch because you're watching someone dominate and just be, at the absolute top of their game. But it's a lot more interesting if there's a bit of tension. And I think that's what we're getting out of Ricky Wysocki right now. Like you said, matching Macbeth pretty much shot for shot except for hole 5. Where he took the birdie 2 and Macbeth carded the double bogey 5. Anything like that is going to help drive that tension, create a little bit more excitement out there on the course, and for us here in the studio as well. Wysocki currently only 3 shots behind Paul Macbeth, but 6 shots clear of their next closest competitors in Chris Dickerson and Nate Sexton. And so while we thought today's round might be a 2-horse race heading into the round, it's turning out to be one different horse than we'd expected. Emerson Keith falling off the pace just a little bit as he sits 4 over on the day. As Dixon said, his goal was top 10 coming into the week. I think he would have to have a truly terrible finish to finish outside the top 10. I don't expect to see that from Emerson as he is a fierce competitor. But right now, it's just coming down to Wysocki and Macbeth.
Well, it seems as if, and I'm thinking about that top 10 finish, which is an incredible accomplishment for any professional disc golfer if you were to finish there as we're expecting. But he sits at 30 under par right now. Eric Oakley sits in a lone position as of right now with a few shots left to go at 26 under par. So if you're looking at that top 10 number, you're looking at maybe somewhere between 26 and 28 under par. Emerson Keith, I'm going to expect for him to pick up some birdies, possibly get back closer to that even territory as he sits +4. If he can have a really strong finish, which he proved out here the other day and at Northwoods. He experienced a rough patch the other day, and then he came back. I think his struggle spots were really from holes 6 to 10 or 6 to 9, and then he just lit up the back. Well, let's see if he can duplicate that. I'd love to see him get back on track. See the Emerson Keith that we kind of fell in love with throughout the week, the guy that just kept shredding it. And we'll see if he can keep himself maybe even that top 5 position with a really strong finish, as we're giving you what I feel like is a beautiful look from the landing zone across the lake from hole 13. And everyone is filtering down up in the top of your screen. That's where the pavilion area is. Everyone has walked over now from where the water tower is, and they're all kind of filtering down. That position is shared really with hole 18's teeing area as well. And so it adds a little additional congestion from time to time.
It's interesting when you walk out on this course, if you're just a park goer, just going to have a nice day, you'd look out here and be like, man, this is beautiful. Lake, not much movement right now on the lake because there's not a whole lot of wind out here. as a competitor, you're walking up to this like, man, I hope I clear this. You know, this is kind of scary. So I love parks like this, like Lake Eureka, where it's beautiful to look at and technically challenging at the same time.
As we're giving those explanations, I see Steve Gans has gone above and beyond. I believe he was once even crowned the PDGA Volunteer of the Year. Steve Gans has come in with a massive super chat to help out our broadcast.
Wow.
Robert, with that super chat, you and I get lunch, buddy.
Nice. I was hoping that we could eat today.
Thank you so much, Steve Gans. Here's Ricky Wysocki to go over the lake. More than enough power. It's really more about the position in which he's vying for there. Not an issue with clearing the water whatsoever.
That's A1 position to the left side of that tree as well. And I saw Steve this morning. He said he was going to have to fly out just a little bit early, so he wasn't able to take in the action on the course, but said he'd be tuning into the broadcast. So, Steve, we appreciate that, and you kept your word. You're a nice guy. Big hyzer for Macbeth here. This is looking perfect. If it just lands softly, that's going to be great. Anything to the left side of the tree, once you cross over there, if you're to the left side of the tree facing the basket, is a great spot. Anything in front of it is a perfect spot. Firebird for Conrad over the water. He says, simmer down. Now, going too long, not a typical issue for our competitors here. James has pushed that a little bit farther than he'd like. He'll have to throw more of a spike angle out and around the trees on the right side.
Is it safe to say that you're trying to get over the water, but not necessarily go as far as you can? You actually want to keep it somewhat near the water's edge, if possible.
That's exactly right. This is a distance control shot. Anywhere between 340 and 380 is perfect. Short is bad, long is very bad.
What's not bad are the amazing supporters and sponsors we've had all week.
They are not bad.
Let's listen in.
Here at Dynamic Discs, we want to help run your local tournament, just like we've supported and sponsored hundreds of others around the world. We've got everything covered from custom stamped discs and players packs to CTPs and trophies. We have what it takes to help every player from novice to pro have a good time. It all starts with ordering from our website with discounted bulk pricing. We can take care of designing and stamping your custom disc. We'll even include rewards when your custom stamped order reaches a new tier. We have discounted prices on extras for players packs, CTPs, raffles, or any other side event. One of the best ways to get new people to your event is custom stamped apparel. When people see your tournament represented on the course, they won't want to miss the next one. We have Dymax trophy discs available, and we can even get any of our baskets custom wrapped. The newest addition to our sponsorship package is the Grow Disc Golf 5K 10K Ace Challenge. Each participant will have one chance at acing a hole, and their ace could be worth $10,000. If you're looking for an easy way to do payout, we can partner up for that too. TDs can avoid the hassle of payout and take advantage of our huge inventory by sending payout through dynamicdisc.com for a discounted price. We want to see your event grow, and we'll work with you to make your event the best it can be. So whether you're running a small C tier or looking for the next GBO, check out dynamicdisc.com or email sponsorship@dynamicdisc.com for everything you need.
After a very lengthy walk around the corner of the lake, we have Ricky Wysocki throwing his second shot first.
Big hyzer for Wysocki up on the left side. No danger whatsoever. That'll set him up for a similar hyzer into the green. I'm unsure if this is enforcer or defender for Emerson. One of those is on the ground and the other is in his hand. And this is a clean shot. Not much to it, but just to throw an intermediate height hyzer there. Here, Macbeth taking a big breath here. Kind of surprising, as this is probably one of the more routine shots that he'll throw all day. Guess just making sure that he will execute well. Onyx for Macbeth. Great spot.
James Conrad looks like he might be lining up an Anheuser approach as opposed to taking the hyzer. You mentioned that earlier, that if you throw too far, it may limit your options and your possibilities here on your second shot. So I'm not sure if he's, it does look like he's lining up the Anheuser. As he's about to do that, I know he takes a few moments. I want to again thank MVP Disc Sports, who yesterday supported our additional live stream. Thank you guys so much to them, as well as Savage Apparel and Legit Disc Golf, all great supporters here of the broadcast, in addition to all the supporters and sponsors you've seen throughout this week, and our presenting sponsor in Infinite Discs.
Big Anheuser for Conrad. He's asking this to get down. That's done so nicely. And when you say that about MVP, I actually spent a little bit of time this morning walking with Steve from MVP. Fantastic guy. We are kind of one another's counterparts in our respective companies. So good to be able to talk to someone who has a lot of the same responsibilities as me in some ways. But
well, and speaking of those responsibilities, some may ask, what is it that you're doing here on a week like this, aside from the commentary, when you're out here as a team manager and you're filling that role? What are some of the things, if you had to explain to somebody, oh yeah, I'm going to Worlds and here's what I'll be doing?
Right. Most of the time it's just showing our support for the players out on the course. So walking with the players who we think, would appreciate us walking with them. Some people just want to be on their own and do their own thing. That's cool. But I try and make an effort between myself, Brian Shintaku, and then Jeremy Rusko is out here as well. Try to make sure that each of our players, we get to walk with them at least for a couple of holes and make sure all is good, just so that they know, yeah, we care about them and are wanting to support them out there on the course. We've also had some other post-production work that we've been doing this week through the Dynamic Discs Media channel. So we've been doing some commentary on that as well. Obviously, the live commentary also. A little bit of a slip for Ricky. He doesn't seem pleased with that shot. Looks like that's trickled out of bounds long for Ricky. Ricky's going to be circle 2 putting for his par 5 here.
And James Conrad pushing out to that right side. It's low and flat. And the gallery continues to clap. But as we've noticed, sometimes they may be a little bit more cheerful than even when needed or when would be otherwise appropriate. But it looks like that one did, in fact, stay inbounds. Worth noting was that this morning, and most of the festivities on the FPO side got started an hour late this morning as some very nasty storms quickly rolled into the Peoria area. That did not ultimately affect our MPO cards as we were here, well, just a few minutes later than the originally scheduled 2:30 tee time. And with that, thank you to our cameramen for being incredibly flexible and hustling for the 40-minute drive between Sunset and Eureka just to get out here and give us some more coverage. Here's Macbeth.
And that's a fantastic approach from Macbeth, likely setting himself up to collect at least one stroke on Wysocki, possibly two if Wysocki is unable to convert from the out-of-bounds area.
The last 7 holes between Paul Macbeth and Ricky Wysocki have been absolutely identical. And Emerson Keith has passed the basket. In fact, I'm going to go as far and say it looks like 9 of the holes that they've played today, out of 12, before they tap out here, 9 out of the 12 holes that they've played have been the identical score. So if you want to talk about matching shot for shot, that's exactly what these two are doing. And Chris Dickerson, again, he's at that 35 under par, and he is on the fairway on hole number 18. So Chris Dickerson's moved himself into a lone third-place position. We see some kayakers out there. Is that kind of like being out in San Francisco?
Trying to catch the baseballs.
Yeah, get the baseball outside when there's a home run. I don't think these guys are going to be in luck, though.
Yeah, and I also think the players would probably ask to get those back. Hard to tell. Wysocki showing a bit of disgust with the lie that he's found after his errant third shot. He's going to be forced to take a straddle stance.
This is a dangerous putt if it catches edge.
Water straight behind the basket.
As Ricky Wysocki needing the Sandy Point Resort replay for that one as he smacks the tree with excitement or maybe even displeasure, unsure. But either way, Wysocki's straddle is in.
Come on, man. Like, that putt is so terrifying. And it seems like he has no regard for that. Just throws it in the basket. Ricky also in the running for most disappointment shown for a long-made putt. But it bears noting these guys expect perfection. You know, they go out and practice day in and day out. They feel incredibly dialed in coming into these courses. And when they're unable to execute like they want to, it's easy for them to get frustrated. Like we said, we see Wysocki, huge putt there, but he's still going to lose the stroke to Macbeth. So he's displeased with his effort.
And James Conrad with the jump putt, lunging forward, uphill putt. So here's Macbeth to pick up a single stroke on Wysocki.
That'll move Macbeth to 43 under par on the weekend. Unless he throws in for eagle, it looks like that 50 under par that he was shooting for is going to be out of reach. But he's still putting together some incredible disc golf today. Emerson Keith also in for his birdie 4. We'll move on over to hole 14, 805 feet. Today playing is the 6th most difficult hole on the course. Players are trying to land their drive around the shade of this tree just on the left side of our screen now. Anything in front of that is even better. From there, it's about a 400-foot approach into the screen that slopes from left to right. There is water out of bounds to the right side, string out of bounds to the left, and just a lot of danger in general. Because of the slope, these discs are going to be coming in on hyzer to the green. It's easy for them to find edge and roll down toward the water, or even just long of the basket where they'll have another death putt similar to the one that we just saw Wysocki take. This hole currently playing at a 4.11 scoring average for our cut field. 27% of the field today able to card the birdie 3, and just under half of the field carding the par 4. Macbeth on the tee and in the driver's seat with a 4-shot lead. Only 5 holes to play.
Nice shot, Paul.
Macbeth pleased with his efforts, and he should be as he clears the ditch and the tree that you want to beat. He is in prime position to attack the green. He's opted for the Discraft Vulture for his tee shot. Most players kind of opt for that hybrid speed driver. Conrad is going with an MD4, so mid-range for Conrad here. James says no, he needs this disc to finish left. Wow, he has thrown that well across the ditch and into a perfect position. I think these guys need to learn that when they throw bad shots, sometimes they still turn out well.
I guess it's the beauty of being as good and as talented as these guys are.
That's right. When your misses are still that good, you know that you've done something right. Explorer for Keith.
That's a good shot, Emerson. That's a good shot.
Also past the ditch. Great footing for his second shot. Wysocki with a massive putt for par will be last to tee. This looks to be T-Bird, and this also looks to be very good. He's going to make something happen. Let me just tell you that.
We know if anyone can, it's Ricky. Here's a word from our sponsors.
Poison ivy's itchy rash ruins the best day outdoors. Zanfel gives immediate relief, washes away the toxin, stops the horrific itch. Safe for kids and pets. No downtime. Got poison ivy? Get Zanfel. It works.
Again, congratulations to the now 5-time women's world champion, Paige Pierce. Robert, as a team manager, as a friend, as someone that has, now worked very closely with Paige over the last few years, what does that mean for the company, for Dynamic Discs, for her to bring home yet another world title?
Sure. I mean, more than anything else, we're just proud of Paige. She's an incredible competitor, always puts her heart on the line, and isn't afraid to show it. That's one of the things I love about Paige. And, she's won in every odd year from 2011 until now. I know that she'll be looking to make history as the only 6-time world champion next year, break the streak in 2020. But I personally and Dynamic Discs as a company are just incredibly proud of Paige Pierce. Fantastic approach to the green for Paul Macbeth there with his Onyx. If Paige were here, she'd tell you, you need to buy a defender, a convict, or a deputy to support her. Those are the things that keep her out on the road. So congratulations, Paige. You are she's pretty great.
She's just one of the truest of champions out there, and I've been fortunate enough to see her win every one of her world titles in some form or another, being present at all of them, and even seeing her finish in third place at the Amateur World Championships I ran in 2007. So I've known Paige for quite some time.
Emerson with what looks like enforcer end of the green. Great shot. Inside the circle, and like you said, he's looking to work back into even or possibly even an under par score for today, keep himself inside that top 5.
Excuse me, yes. Wysocki is going to take an extra moment here to see what he can do to attack the green. And certainly not getting ahead of ourselves just yet, but Paul McBeth clearly looking to claim his 5th world title. It could be a very interesting year, and having both of them going after that 5th. And it's been a little longer of a drought, as Wysocki and others have gotten in Paul's way over the last few years. Wysocki, of course, claiming 2016 and 2017 world titles.
Wysocki forced to throw a much more angle on his hyzer. It makes no difference as he still settles it inside 20 feet. You're exactly right about McBeth having a little bit more of a gap between his last world title, and it's been interesting. At the beginning of the year, McBeth switches to Discraft, and everyone says, well, he's going to have to learn a new bag. He's not going to be able to compete.
He's working on it.
He's competed very well this year, but I thought it was interesting. Something that he said was, with this new bag, he knew he was going to have to practice more, and it gave him more of a passion to get out and learn those discs and compete. And I think you can see that reflected in his play, as every aspect of his game just looks so clean right now.
Yeah, he has really come out and played in a dominant fashion almost all year, as James Conrad.
It takes a bit of a spill. Oh, okay.
Again.
This hole measures 805 feet. I'm pretty sure James just threw MD4, both mid-ranges, to CTP of our group. And we got some, possible singing, possible celebration in the background. It could be from Zach Melton. It's hard to tell.
Well, you see the gallery. And in fact, a little pro tip for the gallery, you should get close to the basket, but not too close. And then all you have to do is simply turn around and you will see the fairway of hole 15. These two holes, 14 and 15, somewhat parallel each other. So in the top right side of your screen, what you're looking at right now is where the next tee will be. But we will take a quick look here. Paul McBeth, again, those 4 strokes. I don't think we're going to see that change here by the end of hole number 14. Chris Dickerson's now in the clubhouse. He shoots the 7 under. That also pushes him up the leaderboard 2 positions into 3rd place. And James Conrad, Nate Sexton currently tied for 4th. And Emerson Keith, if he can continue to pick up a few more birdies, he can make up some of that, we'll say, damage that he's done earlier.
That's right.
Hopefully we'll see him climb back up.
Yeah, if he wants to guarantee his position in the top 5, he needs to find 2 birdies over the next 5 holes. He's in great position to collect 1 here on hole 14. McBeth is in for birdie. That's not a whole lot of cheering for someone who's absolutely shredding. Emerson is in for birdie. And for hole 14, sitting as the 6th most difficult hole on the course, these gentlemen didn't seem to catch that memo. All of them well inside the circle for their birdie 3s. James with 2 mid-ranges. Come on, man.
I mean, nothing special. Kevin Jones did eagle it. Here's Dixon.
All right, if you were a little confused as to Ricky was so upset hitting a 60-footer on the last hole, he had skipped OB, and he gave that stroke away to Paul. So Ricky down 4 now. It's kind of interesting that he has been feeling that emotion, but he hasn't been able to really turn it into anything. And usually when Ricky's feeling it like that, when Raptor Rick is out there happening, that usually means good things for him. But Paul's not giving up anything. Interestingly, on this hole, Paul has a perfect drive, perfect upshot, and he still has to putt first. Problem is, he still got the birdie. So even though everybody else had a better drive and a better upshot, they didn't get a better score. Paul keeps that lead. We've got 4 holes to go. Let's see if he can hold on.
Hole 15, one of the easier holes remaining on the course, 315 feet uphill, probably plays closer to 350 or 360 feet. The tree on the right of the screen does have a Mando that you must play to the left of, and there is OB string all down the left side and behind the basket. This, however, is playing as the 6th easiest hole on the course today, 42% of the open field carding the birdie 2. Bit of an elevated basket on some hay bales makes for a bit of a challenge on the green, but across the board, I think we're going to see probably 3 or 4 drives inside circle 1, if not inside circle 2. Our elite competitors have been handling this hole quite well throughout the week. We want to say thanks once again to the over 12,000 viewers that we have across both streams on YouTube right now, along with the 1,000 viewers that we have on Facebook. Last we checked on Twitch, we had another 500 viewers. So we want to say thank you so much for tuning into live disc golf here at the World Championships. This has been an incredible week and a dominant performance from Paul McBeth so far. He carries a 4-shot lead with 4 holes to play. Big Z Luna for McBeth. I believe I heard him say when he let it go, he said, "There you go."
And the hay bales actually act as the backstop for Paul McBeth. Here is a Sandy Point Resort and Disc Golf Ranch replay.
And as we know, this is the hole that McBeth 3-putted on the last time he was out at Eureka. He said he was upset with how far he left that disc, and that if he had committed to the angle, he'd been putting it on the hay bales. It seems like he committed to the angle this time.
Well, when I'm throwing my putter 315 feet uphill with a beautiful turnover, I love kind of that. I want to make sure I have the angle right as well.
Yeah, that's correct.
James Conrad also going to match that. Great shot by James.
Once again, this hole reads 315. It plays quite a bit longer, and these guys are just making it look like child's play. Keith playing a forehand defender here. This has the distance needed if it just skips up, and it does exactly that. 3 shots inside 20. Let's see if Ricky can take his KC Pro Rock here and make it 4.
I like the angle on this as well. Really, it's almost disgusting just how well they've executed the tee shots on 15. We'll be back in a moment.
For the dreamers, the planners, thrill seekers, and chill seekers. For the adventurous, the curious, the creative, and the passionate. For the young and the young at heart. For her, for him, for everyone.
Star Wombat 3. This is a new addition to Garrett Gerthy's bag. This is the most utilizable disc that you can make do whatever you want. So with the hyzer line low, it'll hold the hyzer. If I throw a little hyzer, throw a little high, it pops up straight and holds the line straight. If I throw it for backhand about 60-70% and let it go about 380, 400. I'm going to be getting a bunch of birdies with this at the World Championships this year.
Wysocki is going to be the furthest from the basket at about 20 feet. Emerson's putt is in. He has collected the birdies that he's needed to move back into a tie for 4th place. He's currently in that top 5 where he wanted to be coming into this week. Yeah, currently in a tie for 5th with Nate Sexton.
And James Conrad, well, I was going to say James Conrad, last few holes, very impressive. Paul McBeth putting the string of birdies together. We got a brief walk. Let's take a look at hole 16.
Hole 16 is one of the easiest par 4s that our competitors will play this weekend. 3.65 scoring average. We've seen rollers down the middle here. We've also seen some air shots that just slowly pan to the right. Any drive that gets past this tree in the center of the fairway is going to be in a good spot to attack the green, which is down into the right side. The ground slopes from right to left, so the green receives forehands really well. Anything that gets a little bit too high, off the tee especially, can filter left out of bounds. And any forehand that gets a little bit early right is prone to find the bush line. I guess it's more hedges really on the right side. Very, very dense in there. We've seen some extremely successful rollers that did crest the hill and get circle 2 looks. And that looks like the disc that Macbeth has in his hand is an Avenger SS. Look for him to be very aggressive with this roller as he doesn't have much to lose. Pardon me. I'll say this right now. If Macbeth's drive lands in bounds, you can basically chalk up this championship. If he lands in bounds, he's not going to take worse than a 4. Even if he were to find out of bounds on hole 17, I don't foresee a way that he gets bested by a competitor here. Tournament director Nate Heinel giving some lessons in which hand is your left and which is your right.
Well, if you've seen him play, I'm not sure he knows, actually, from time to time.
Wow, the super burn coming in from
Zinger
from T-Dog. Just about as burned as T-Dog's face out there at Idlewild.
Hey-o.
Hey-yo.
See what you did there.
I didn't think it looked that bad, okay? Just the chat did.
Thanks. The internet was being mean, folks. There's a spoiler. All right, here's Macbeth. Throwing the roller that's going to push right.
He needed to just miss that tree. It's going to get a little extra roll because when you're currently a 4-time world champion, that's what happens when your rollers hit the tree. Macbeth will be in a decent spot to attack the green. Shouldn't be a problem. Conrad unleashes on this drive. That's carrying a bit more right than he'd like. It just stays outside the hedges. Fantastic position. This will be OptoX Explorer for Emerson Keith, one of his signature series discs. Beautiful turn for Keith on this shot. That is so far down the fairway. Wow, great correction for Keith over his OB drive last time. If you enjoy disc golf and live disc golf, consider picking up any of these Players Tour Series discs. It helps to keep them out on the road and allow them to play tournaments like this. This is turned early for Wysocki. It's going to be way down the fairway, so he should likely have an opportunity to get up and down.
I'm going to get down with these sponsors and supporters right now.
Kale Aviska from Minnesota, and you're watching SmashBoxxTV, baby.
Welcome back, everyone. As we're here on hole 16, and I'm going to give a quick plug for our SmashBoxxTV live podcast every Tuesday night. You can join us. That starts at 9 p.m. Central Time. Quite often, we bring in the winners from the previous weekend of some big event that's taken place, both MPO and FPO and beyond. So feel free to tune in right here on SmashBoxxTV. Make sure you're subscribed.
Good safe approach from Macbeth right around the edge of circle one. And if you want to be even more supportive of live disc golf, you can become a patron of the SmashBoxxTV channel. Just go to patreon.com and search SmashBoxxTV. That's 2 X's. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm a patron of the SmashBoxxTV channel.
And we appreciate that. As one of your coworkers, Doug Bierkes, now we just got to pressure that Eric McCabe fella and Jeremy Rusko to get on it. You know why SmashBox has 2 X's, of course?
Why's that?
Because you can never have too many X's.
That's a really weird way to put it. Emerson Keith is going to approach with his Boston Bruins Justice here. It's a little bit early right, but he'll probably have a straddle putt from over there.
A little interesting to think about. James Conrad, so kind of famously known for throwing a Juliana Korver putter, or a softer putter. Juliana Korver, the 5-time women's world champ, out here today. She's in the gallery watching as all of these spectators and fans, as she's been such a great ambassador for so many years. Now, James Conrad having a similar plastic and a Tour Series disc, as you mentioned a moment ago. Legit Disc Golf getting serious here on our Super Chat board. We thank you so much, Ryan, over at Legit Disc Golf. I know he had talked about throughout the week, and he frequently works with us in terms of broadcasts, that anytime we see an eagle by one of his sponsored competitors on the show, usually Kevin Jones or an Emerson Keith, that he offers up a giveaway. But thank you, Legit Disc Golf, for the support all week and today.
Wysocki turned his roller just a bit too much, but he's gotten so far down the fairway, he just has a jump putt approach. Like you said earlier, Wysocki, he doesn't show up to events to take second. You know, that he likely will take second. He'll likely take home a pretty nice payday, a good bonus from his sponsors, but he's disappointed with anything but first place. I mean, his last name is not Bobby, but he does believe that if you aren't first, you're last.
Well, and when you're talking about someone as decorated and as accomplished as Ricky Wysocki, that just goes into his drive. That's not to say he's not appreciative of his own efforts, or he in any way considers himself lesser than, but we just know that he is so fierce, and he is here to play for first place. And anything outside of that, I'm not sure that he really cares too much. Paul Macbeth, you could certainly say the same of. And this could be the official dagger to end the World Championship run by anyone but Macbeth.
And that's over the top for Macbeth. I'm not going to say
hold on to those daggers.
I'm not going to say that the door is totally closed.
Certainly not with that miss. I feel like if he puts that in, I would be confident, because at worst, you're going to see him go possibly, bogey to finish on 17 and 18. That would be the worst case scenario, in my opinion. But with him not making that, he's got a little work to do. And he does recover.
Ooh, man. All right, so like you said, door not completely closed at this point. Macbeth will have 3 shots going into hole 17 and 18.
So bring in. Solid putt by James Conrad.
Emerson Keith has this putt to move into solo 5th place. Currently tied with Nate Sexton at 33 under par for the week. This would also be to move him back to even on the round.
What an incredible putt by Emerson Keith, maintaining his balance about as far stretched out to his left as he could have possibly been. And as these guys move away, I'm a huge shout out to the Mad Golf B tier in 2 weeks in Farmington, Missouri. A11's Golf, huge supporter here. Thank you so much. Ricky Wysocki has the birdie there. We're going to move over to hole 17. Just 2 left to play in regulation.
That's right.
What are we going to do here?
300 feet straight forward. Not much to it other than lots of OB in front and behind and on each side. Lots of action can happen here on hole 17. You are not going to see very many threes. We're going to have a lot of birdie twos. In fact, 65% of the MPO field carding the birdie two, and then 27% of the field taking bogey or worse. This is a standard distance. Players can throw nearly any disc in their bag and achieve this distance, but the distance control is going to be the most important part here. Anything that doesn't land safe past those rocks and short of the path will move to the drop zone that is nowhere near distance to run a shot in.
Call me a little biased, but I'd love to see Ricky ace this just to make him raptor leg all the way around the lake.
That's what we've been missing out on Smashbox live coverage.
Some raptor legging around the lake.
James Conrad taking putter straight at the basket. Needs that to get down. And he gets the green flag just inside the ropes on the left side. We want to say thank you once again to everyone for tuning in. Over both of our live streams, we have right around 13,000 viewers just on YouTube, another 1,000 on Facebook, and several on Twitch. Thank you so much for joining us. We very much appreciate the support and appreciate that you like watching live disc golf.
Looking for record turnouts here today, coming to you from Central Illinois. Here's Emerson Keith lining up beforehand on hole 17.
Stiletto high and left, pushing back right for Emerson. Spikes just by the basket and scoots even a bit closer. Wysocki absolutely needs to land this safe to put the pressure on Macbeth. This is pro pig for Wysocki. He's watching it intently.
And Wysocki on the green, so advantage Wysocki for this particular hole. Of course, Paul still sits with the 3-stroke lead. If Paul puts this on the green, I'm not going to tell you to shut down the stream and call it a day, but
yeah, please don't. In fact, keep it up forever.
Of course,
but whatever.
But you will have to call the tournament in Paul Macbeth's favor. He just has to put this anywhere on the green.
Yeah, Big Z Luna, this is the shot of the tournament for Paul Macbeth. Oh, he's not pleased with it. It looks like that's cruising a bit long and right.
It's going to sit, though, and it does.
He lands safe. Woo. Wow.
They're going to take a walk around the lake. We're going to get a quick catch-up, possibly, with Dixon Jowers. Just kidding. We've heard enough from him for now. We'll see you on the green.
Zuka is now producing limited edition color choices. Zuka can add custom embroidery to the front and/or sides of the bag. Zuka is now producing limited edition color choices. Zuka can add custom embroidery to the front and/or sides of the bag.
I can throw this disc around the world in one shot.
Never play disc golf too far into the jungle. There may be cheetahs.
Someone on your card can't recall if they threw a 6 or a 7. It was probably an 8.
See? Stay getting birdies, my friends.
Nice. Thanks. And welcome back, everyone. I know we were just talking a moment ago off air. Of course, the media, the crews, the staff out here, Joma's Productions, Central Coast, who provided all of our drone previews. Thank you so much. PDGA Media out here hustling around. Dynamic Disc with their media crew as well throughout the week. Upshot and Alta World contributing. I believe I also saw Scott Reek out here. Alyssa Van Lannon Images and LEL Photography. So thank you to everyone involved in bringing you this amazing World Championships.
Oh, Macbeth, just out the left side of the basket. He's going to concede one shot to Ricky Wysocki here. Most likely, Wysocki is about 20 feet away. Macbeth will likely take a 2-shot advantage into hole 18.
And Macbeth, truly one of the few competitors we've seen all week put it on the green and then not convert for the birdie. In fact, that's just an incredibly rare occurrence to take place with only 7% of our field taking pars.
Yeah, just 6 players so far doing that today. 65% of the field carding the birdie too.
All right, well, we're going to increase that percentage. It sounds like the commentator jinx is officially on. And as everyone is also saying on the board, this is not over, because if Ricky Wysocki will tap in here and have a 2-stroke deficit, a birdie to bogey, or of course a par to double bogey, could put Ricky Wysocki in a tie with Macbeth.
A nice bogey, birdie for Emerson Keith to put him back under par on the day.
All right, well, if you would have asked Rick at the start of the day, you're down 2 shots heading into the 18th hole, will you take it? He would have most certainly said yes. Now, he is dealing with an issue on the outside of his right ring finger on his throwing hand. He was reaching into a bush yesterday and a thorn hit him, and basically it went right into the joint and it's become infected. He definitely has some sort of cut there, some sort of lesion, but also a growing bruise. And he spoke to a local doctor who said, let's draw a line around that thing and make sure it's not infection that's spreading. If it is, as soon as you get done with this, go straight to the ER, is basically the report that Ricky's been given. However, that same doctor looked at it before the round, hadn't seen it since yesterday, and said, okay, it seems to have leveled out, so you should be okay. And it's really only affecting Ricky when he does a full-on power grip, but apparently not affecting him too much. Let's see if he can overcome that and 2 strokes on the 18th hole.
So earlier in the day, we were talking about what our competitors would have to do in order to catch Paul Macbeth, because we said he's probably not going to shoot worse than a 9. Right now, Paul Macbeth sits at 9 under par headed into the 18th hole. Ricky Wysocki putting together an incredible round. So far, a bogey-free 13 under par through 17 round. If Wysocki has any fight left in him, now is the time for it to come out, as he absolutely must birdie this to put some pressure on Paul Macbeth.
The next conversation that has to be had, and hopefully we can get a word from one of the staff or the crew or you, Disc, as to what is the playoff on hole, if it were to move to that. And now that I think about it, I think it's 18, then 17, and 18 and 17 until a champion is crowned. as I'm just answering my own question. Here's Emerson Keith.
This is a beautiful air shot for Keith. Excellent distance. Obviously not Keith's best day so far today, but he's only carded 2 pars so far today, carding a lot of bogeys on the front, 1 bogey on the back, but carding, well, let me count up real quick. 7 bogeys, 8 birdies on the day with just 2 pars to go along with that. Ricky Wysocki taking the extremely aggressive Anheuser out over the water. Oh my goodness, that is uncharted territory. Wow, what a shot from Wysocki. And almost more so than the physical position of his disc is the statement from Wysocki that he is not afraid at all to attack this hole.
James Conrad says, all right, I see what you did, Rick.
Yeah, he just said,
I'm not afraid to go big.
Talking about the gallery, he said, huh, they're stoked. I like it.
And James Conrad, a little more conventional route right up the middle.
Huge shot with his Thunderbird.
Oh,
wow, look at the show these guys are putting on.
And where James finishes on this hole in relation to what we see from Emerson Keith, that may determine if we're going to see one of these guys punch up into 3rd place or 4th place. So they are jockeying for those last couple of podium spots right now. This has now become the shot of the tournament here for Paul McBeth. And he goes with the roller. This needs to stand up.
This is a good angle for McBeth.
And he's going to be clear. And that will curl up. And Paul McBeth can take likely 3 more shots to get up and down from there and still walk away with the title.
This is McBeth staring adversity in the face. In the face. Ha! In the face.
In your face.
In your face. As Wysocki goes out over the water, like I said, kind of a statement shot, really more of a shock value type of shot from Wysocki, who could probably birdie even if he just sent the disc straight down the middle, air shot. I think he's trying to instill some fear in Paul. Paul, totally unfazed, throws a beautiful roller to a good spot to approach the green. He could probably lay up a couple of times and become the 2019 world champion.
Well, and I think Wysocki, like you said, maybe going a little bit of that shock factor or just trying to get anything that he can, a little extra bonus footage out of that, maybe try to find a position where he could aggressively, throw one in. Because if Paul is out, which I think that he's going to be, if Paul has to throw first, depending on where Paul throws, Ricky may buzz this at the basket as hard as he can.
Yeah, they're
just
well
going
clear
for
of
it.
3rd place.
And not knowing or not caring whatsoever what the repercussions of the throw are. He will do anything he can to potentially throw it in and try to get that eagle and force some kind of pressure on Paul. But Paul answered. Paul responded with a great tee shot, and I just think that's going to be enough for Paul. And Ricky Wysocki will maybe again come up as the 2nd place finisher here at the World Championships.
And as McBeth lines up his approach, we want to say thank you so much to the nearly 14,000 viewers that we have on YouTube right now. Thank you so much for sharing live disc golf with us here at the 2019 World Championships, along with our viewers on Facebook and Twitch. Thanks so much for tuning in. We very much appreciate the support.
Also, thank you to Disc Golf Strong, who has been supporting our players as he comes in with a super chat. Seth, many of these players will tell you they couldn't be where they are today without Seth Muncy from Disc Golf Strong helping out. Here is McBeth on the approach.
This is nice and flat for McBeth. Not going to get much action on the ground, so he's going to have about 100 to 130 foot approach to the basket.
And what a week as we're going to watch Emerson Keith start to close things out here. We're, of course, wishing for a health and amazing little baby on the way that will be arriving hopefully in the next couple of weeks for him and his wife, Mackenzie. Solid performance. And as many have said, this is not the last we're going to see of Emerson Keith.
Oh, look at that extra action off the tree for Keith.
He needs to sit down.
Oh, yeah, he's in golden position. Emerson Keith will likely drop in his birdie 3. That's going to leave him with a good taste in his mouth, as I'm telling you right now. As soon as this round is over and he adds up his scorecard, Emerson's hopping in the car and headed home to be with his wife. Thanks again to Sandy Point Resort for the replay. It's just been an incredible week of golf for Emerson. I can't say enough about the young man. And like you said, we will be hearing more from him in the future. It's very likely that if he converts there, he will move into at least a tie for third place with James Conrad. Out momentarily.
Ricky Wysocki, I'm already thinking ahead to just the performance he's put out today. Unfortunately, it doesn't appear that it's going to be enough, barring something crazy unfolding in the next few shots. But what an effort by Wysocki. And here's James Conrad, who's looking to secure himself a third-place finish here at Worlds.
Low-stealing AVR shot from Conrad that hits a tree and unfortunately trickles left into the water. He's going to have an upcoming putt for his par. More than likely, that means Emerson Keith is going to settle into that solo third-place position. And the tournament's all come down to this. Ricky Wysocki with 2 strokes to gain, or 2 strokes needed to catch Macbeth. Pro pig in hand. I can't imagine a world where he doesn't run this.
Yeah, he's running this hard at the pin.
Oh, and it's just underneath the basket, skipping long. He settled inside the circle. Ricky certainly giving great chase to Macbeth today, making some moves. He's inside the circle putting for a 14 under par. When Eagle McMahon shot that earlier this week, that was an 1100 rated round. So I feel like Wysocki could truly say, I did all I could do to track down Macbeth.
For him to come back the way he did, just incredible effort by Wysocki. But for now, it looks like Wysocki's titles will remain at 2. And Paul Macbeth just needs to lay this up next to the basket.
Macbeth taking just an extra moment.
He's really hesitating on the shot.
He does have a little bit of a low ceiling there.
All right.
He lands his Luna, matching the plane of the hill. That is inside 5 feet. Macbeth will be dropping in for his 5th world title.
Jeff handing off his bag to Jeff Horn.
James Conrad is going to look for his AVR for a moment.
And James Conrad, who started hole 18 at 36 under par, he's likely going to be walking away with the bogey 5. So Conrad will dip down to 35 under par. At that point, we'll put him in a tie with Dickerson. The question is, will Emerson Keith, who's just a few feet away, it looks like he's going to bump up into 36 under par, which would give him sole possession of third.
Yep.
So if James makes this, he finishes in a tie for third. If he misses, he finishes in a tie for 5th, or correction, a tie for 4th with Chris Dickerson. Solid performance all around.
This one stroke likely has about $1,000 or $1,500 consequence on the line for James Conrad. Step putt, hands it. Gives himself a nice little applause on the way to the basket. What a way to close out the weekend for James Conrad. One of the most well-liked players out on tour, and for good reason. He is a fierce competitor, a fantastic disc golfer, and just a great guy. Wysocki is in for his birdie 3, fitting into his weekend. He's going to shoot 14 under par on the day, which will likely be 1,100 rated. Great round for Wysocki.
And the crowd favorite for sure in Emerson Keith. What a performance here this weekend for Emerson. And Paul McBeth with this putt, crowned your 5-time world champion, as his wife Hannah embraces him. So incredible for Paul McBeth.
Introducing your 2019 PDGA Professional Disc Golf World Champion and 5-time World Champion, Paul McBeth. There you go. Congratulations, Paul. Awesome, buddy. Go. Photo, please. Photo.
Our executive director of the PDGA stepped in for a few photos, along with tournament director Nate Heinold. Paul holds up his trophy, his crown, and Paul, arguably Paul's biggest fan.
Wow, how about that? How about that? How about that?
Oh, thank you so much.
Oh my gosh, Paul has handed his spinning putters to the fan, and he is just in disbelief of something. We're going to have
it's up to you, man.
a word.
Let's do it then.
Let's let him sit down then. If do you want to sit down with that, or do you want to?
No, it's your call, dude. Good
job, Paul.
Let's get an interview with him, folks.
Down here, or do you want to go up into the pavilion?
Don't make me drive out there.
Do you guys want to do them here or in the pavilion? Or well, it's.
All right, looks like they're going to get that sorted out. Johnny V will hopefully be in my ear to let us know when they're going to officially get organized. Steve Hill is on site. Again, Nate Heinold, our tournament director, on site, they want to get the scorecard officially completed and turned in. Of course, that is the #1 priority. But then we'd like to, of course, hear from Paul McBeth. And how in the world do we recap that day? Just as we open the day, thinking about Emerson Keith, Paul McBeth in this what we thought would be a 2-horse race. Emerson found a little trouble early, fell off the pace, and Ricky Wysocki, he didn't quite raptor leg in, but it would have been appropriate if he did.
No joke. Ricky Wysocki shooting the hot round of the day by 3, 14 under par, 14 birdies, only 4 pars. Incredible stuff from Wysocki. Nate Sexton, the next hottest round of the day at 11 under par. And then, like we said, McBeth, he's not going to shoot less than the 9, and that's exactly what he ended up shooting. 9 under par, 54 to secure his 5th world title. I can't think of a more fitting end to this season, or at least to this tournament. It's just been so fun to watch, you know. McBeth changing sponsors. That shook everything up, probably unlike anything else we'd seen since Prodigy came on the market maybe in 2013, right around that time. Lots of questions asked around McBeth. Is he going to be able to compete? Is he going to learn his new bag? Is he going to have any confidence in his new discs? And I think he's been silencing those concerns throughout the year. This is probably an exclamation point on that silencing to end the World Championships. And then we would be remiss to not talk about one of my favorite stories of the event, Emerson Keith. Young player from Texas who has just been on the up and up, made a few lead cards last year, so people knew his name. Everybody knows his name now as he makes a statement here at the PDGA World Championships. Doesn't quite have the final round that he wanted to have if he shoots 2 under par on the day, but some impressive stuff. This is kind of like we've seen from Kevin Jones, you know, kind of starts to creep up and then just explode onto the scene. That's where I think Emerson Keith is. We will see a lot more from him in the future at the top of the leaderboard.
Well, and as we talk about that leaderboard, you have to think about Ricky Wysocki also undergoing a sponsorship change here recently.
Exactly.
And he moved back now to his sponsor in Innova Champion Disc. Sure, he's been there before and he's played with those discs before and he's battled with them. But for him to make that transition back over and ultimately have what you would consider still a new bag for this season just shows that these players practice so hard. They learn their discs, they learn what they need to do, and then they come out and compete on the world's biggest stage. Coincidentally, we see Paige Pierce today. She closes out her world championships. She gets her 5th ring. She takes a 9 under to do it. today, Paul McBeth, in a similar fashion at a different course, shoots his 9 under and then goes home with his 5th World Championship title.
That's right. 2 times, 5 times today.
I'm going to get lost doing all of that math, but we were doing math throughout the day. Thank you to anyone that tuned into one of the 2 streams that ultimately brought us to where we are here today. We're going to round out our top 10, as everyone has been asking about. McBeth with that 1-stroke advantage over Wysocki. James Conrad cans that putt, and
it's such a cool way to end for James.
It really is.
What a big putt.
A tie for 3rd place with Emerson Keith. Chris Dickerson puts up a pretty solid round here, a 7 under to get up to 5th place overall. Nate Sexton made himself a push, doing a little double duty this week with the commentary and playing solid golf to finish in 6th. Kevin Jones, 7th place. Eagle McMahon, what a comeback after some serious struggles out there, and he battled so hard over these last few holes, or these last few rounds, to finish in a tie for 8th, along with his teammate and good buddy in Simon Lizotte, and someone who's, I don't want to say barely been around, but he's been very quiet this year. Nico LaCastro, people have said, where are you? What are you doing? I know I talked to him, and he said, I've been living life. I've been doing other things. I'm not playing in all the biggest tournaments. Well, he comes out here and takes a top 10 finish at the World Championship. So just so everyone knows, we are here giving you all this recap. In our other screen, we see them kind of getting ready in what looks like a poorly lit area. So you're not missing anything.
Yeah, that's right.
I think we're filling time, as some would say, just to get ready. What else do you got for us?
I do want to shout out our other top 10 competitors who tied for 10th. Didn't quite make it onto the leaderboard on the screen, but Eric Oakley today ended up shooting a 2 under par. That's going to be a top 10 finish for Oakley. Fantastic stuff for him this week. And like you said, incredible weekend for Eagle McMahon as he shot, what was it? At Northwood, a few over par, maybe like a 3 or 4 over par for McMahon in his 2nd round. Battled back and shot some incredible rounds since to get himself back into contention, especially that 49 14 under par out here at Eureka, matched by Ricky Wysocki today. So unfortunately, he's going to have to share that course record now. I hate when that happens to me, when someone, ties my course record. But yes, just some incredible play from our competitors this week. Lots of double-digit under par performances and some breakout performances as well.
Yeah, well, Paul McBeth, a day or two ago, I'm not sure how vocal he was about it going into the World Championships, but I know in the last day or two, he had vocalized that 50 under seemed like a really good number. That 50 under would be enough to take it and win it. Turns out that 45 is actually the magic number that was needed.
That's right.
For Paul McBeth, but he did so in such a dramatic fashion, with Ricky Wysocki trying to hunt him down. And I just can't say enough about the performance that Ricky, putting it all on the line, having those challenges, especially with the finger that may or may not be infected, it may or may not be amputated.
Right.
But Ricky Wysocki comes out and battles hard today. So incredible performance all around.
And I think probably the next thing we're looking forward to major-wise is the United States Disc Golf Championship, held at the same place every year, Rock Hill, South Carolina, on the Winthrop Gold Course. It's kind of like Disc Golf's Masters. It happens at the same course every year. There are tweaks to the course every year, and we've heard about a couple that will be happening this year, but same course, same environment, and the prestige surrounding that event is really only rivaled by Worlds throughout the year. So that's going to be the next major that we'll hear about from our competitors. In the meantime, we've got some Disc Golf Pro Tour events and some A tiers. We would love to get you guys to tune into those, as we've got the MVP Open coming up, as well as a national tour, Delaware. That's played at the Iron Hill course, I believe. And the last Disc Golf Pro Tour event before the finale, the Green Mountain Championships, held up in Smuggler's Notch, Vermont. One of my favorite places on earth. Beautiful place.
Yeah, Smuggler's Notch. I can attest to that. And before we got the broadcast started, in fact, your wife said, if there's one place all year long I can go to, if she had to leave Emporia, she said, I would like to go to Smuggler's Notch. So that's an incredible place to be as well. Also the host of last year's World Championships and this last year's Pro Masters World Championship. Right. So clearly a fitting venue. We're going to see if they've got their scorecards added up. Again, I'm not sure what the rest of the staff and crew are doing to not encourage Paul to hopefully check in with us. I don't want to get a little punchy here, but we would love to hear a live interview from Paul Macbeth any moment now. As and we may or may not be in tune with the idea that Paul is. Oh, here we go.
No problems throwing on fresh shoes.
Yep. So as I getting one of the bugs out of the way here,
Got a few flies.
So again, they're in some kind of the scorers area, trying to, I think, finalize a few details here. I don't know what else I can really tell you guys at this point. Should we talk about how amazing Paige Pierce's five-time title is?
Yeah, I mean, let's. Going into today, three-way tie atop the leaderboard. After, the finish to that round, a short miss from Katrina, coming out of nowhere pretty much. And so that was going to give her a one-stroke advantage going in. Instead, 3 16 unders going into today's round. And Paige Pierce came out with her intent made clear. She was going to charge and make everyone else keep up. And today she just had a little bit too much steam as she shot a 9 under par out at Sunset Hills to claim her 5th world title. She's done that, like we've said, in every odd year starting in 2011. So 2011, 2013, 2015, 2017, now 2019, as if it was kind of fate. It's kind of cool.
Okay.
So we're hearing right now from the course that Ricky Wysocki's dad took the card with him on accident as they left the course. Maybe on purpose. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, Greg Barsby's still champion until that card returns.
That's right. That's right. So congratulations, Greg Barsby. So yeah, just waiting for the card to be turned in. I don't know. Do we just go for it?
I mean, I feel like we should hear from our world champion. I'm hoping that many of you are still tuned in and would still like to hear from him. As I'm going to do a quick variation or a quick clarification here. Seems like that is ready to go. And we are, yeah, we are still waiting. I apologize.
Now, do we have Paige Pierce's interview from her win possibly that we could show?
If that was maybe broke out into a separate clip, we're going to check with our,
okay.
Sounds like a good audible cue for Johnny back in the studios to maybe see if he can pull from that. And again, sorry, we're just, we're also seeing a few of the people out on the course and they're starting to break down the tournament and do all those things that they have to do. While they're doing that, I do really want to quickly thank all of the communities that were a part of this event, including Sunset Hills Golf Club, who graciously hosted us here for the last few days. Not only did they host us here in the booth, which was worked out tremendously for us, but also providing this venue that our FPO players could come compete on, not just this weekend, but of course for the Ledgestone Insurance Open. So thank you to Jerry and the whole entire crew out here as we've been at Sunset Hills. And then we've been in Morton, which is over at the Northwoods course. We're here in Pekin right now, and we've also been up in the Washington area doing some stuff at 5 Points. So thank you to Washington for hosting us, and then of course Eureka for hosting us as well. So when you talk about coming to play disc golf in the Peoria or the greater Peoria area, lots of options here. They've hosted the United States Women's Disc Golf Championships for a number of years. Hall of Famers Mom and Old Man Wallace are here. I mean, this is they know their disc golf and the disc golf scene in this area, so it's very incredible to see.
That's right, and I want to give a huge shout out to Nate Heinold as well as the tournament staff. The courses that they have here in the Peoria area are just fantastic. Northwood Gold is one of my favorites that I've played really anywhere, and I just got to see it this week. I love that our top competitors got to duke it out 2 rounds on that course. Eureka, more of a well-known course, an easier course to follow as a spectator, but that Northwood Gold's course has just some beautiful holes, including hole 12. One of the most difficult disc golf holes that I've ever played that's still extremely fair. just tight fairway all the way down. How straight can you throw? How straight can you throw your discs? So yeah, love the Northwoods course. Once again, can't say enough about Nate Heinold and the entire tournament staff here this week.
Yeah, they did an incredible effort. I think I already quickly went over the media crews, but I want to get one more shout out for all of them. Central Coast so graciously helped provide us with the drone previews here for the week, so thank you to them. They did the MPO2 and the FPO1 post-production coverage. We also saw Joe Mez, of course, on post-production coverage, Dynamic Disc on post-production coverage, and then Alyssa Van Lannen and LEL Photography. That's Lauren Lakeberg, who is an Illinois resident. Alyssa Van Lannen, a Wisconsin resident. So we definitely have some Midwestern representation in our media and photography side of things. So as we are continuing to look and the chat board continues to come in, before we shut things down, there is a final fire sale that's taking place on the Super Chats. So if you were interested in getting in on that, you could. That would directly,
still can do that.
Yes, but the sale's about to end. And so we do appreciate anyone and everyone that's contributed in that capacity as well, including Sandy Point Resort as our replay sponsor throughout the week. Sounds like we might even be ready to go to an interview with our 5-time champion in Paul Macbeth. It looks like he's out there at the famous water tower.
Yeah. Hey, we finally did it, guys. You get to hear from the champ.
Or we could come back to us. All right.
We'll go to
Macbeth
that.
with Steve Hill.
All right, Paul, congratulations. I know, I'm sorry we had a little bit of a scramble getting the scorecards, but 5th world title, and it has actually been 1,470 days since your last title. What's it feel like now that this day has finally come?
It feels great. I mean, it feels like it's been a long time. I mean, 1,400 days is wild. So, I mean, it feels great. I wish I could have cleaned it up a little bit there at the end and not made it so dramatic, but I'm sure all the viewers enjoyed that, so it feels great.
It was exciting. Let's go back. I want to go back to hole 5, baseball field hole, big, double bogey, 3-stroke swing. What are you telling yourself at that point in time to get back on the road to recovery there?
That was one. I had the fairway driver through the Onyx out there and just went long. So I thought I was kind of playing it safer there. So I was really surprised by that. But I knew Emerson didn't have the greatest start, and he was the one that was closest to me at that point. But then after that double bogey, Rick got within 3, and I knew if I just shot great the rest of the way, it wouldn't get too close. So like I said, at the end of the round, that's really where I had the hiccups, which luckily I had enough by then.
I was going to say, it felt, at least on the course, like it was kind of a battle between you and Rick. Were you feeling that same kind of push?
Definitely. After, like I said, Emerson had those unfortunate starting holes, Rick was right there pushing. I had no clue what scores were. I kind of just knew I was up 4, I was up 3, I was up 6, so I kind of just knew that. And then when we just added up the scorecards, I was like, he shot 14. Like, that was wild. So had no clue what the scores were, but just what my lead was at the whole round.
Down the stretch, were you ever nervous that it was going to slip away?
Once I missed the putt on 17, I knew just put on the island and I was going to be fine. But I knew I left it up to a thrower's chance, to 2 it, because my best play there would be a 4, just to be smart regardless and let him try to throw it in and do that. So I wish I would have gotten over that hill on my second shot and just had a 3 look if I needed it, but left it up to that. And I was nervous until once his disc hit the ground on 18.
Going back to the off-season, big sponsorship change for you to turn around so quickly and get this 5th world title. What do you think that says about your consistency as a player?
I mean, I think it speaks more for Discraft than it does me. They made the products. I went out and threw them. I've been throwing them very well, so I'm honored to be on that team. And to see those guys actually here on the 18th green when I tapped that out was incredible. So I'm just stoked to be where I am and continuing to throw Discraft.
You have the 4 world titles in a row. Some people might have called that your prime. Currently, what, 29? Do you feel like you're still in your prime, entering a second prime? What's next?
I feel like I'm entering a prime. It's something where I need to just physically take care of myself. I feel great. I'm just going to learn how to take care of myself better, especially on the road now that we got the RV. It's a lot easier. I'm eating way better. No junk food, no soda, no crap. So now it's just finding out a workout routine that works in the RV.
Once again, that is 2019 PDGA World Champion, 5-time World Champion, Paul McBeth. Paul, congratulations. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Hey, appreciate it. Thank you. Congratulations.
Now
you want to do
head that way?
Yeah, I'd head over to awards stage. Rick.
All right. Yeah, I'd head over to awards. I think that sounds like
it's important for him to be over there.
It sounds like good advice. We, of course, want to thank Steve Hill along with Paul McBeth, and it sounds like we're going to have maybe even Ricky Wysocki. I know some people.
A little bonus interview.
Yeah, little bonus interview action. Rick, let's see what we got here.
Giving him just a moment to get set up, and here we go.
Rick, man, way to go down swinging. I know you look disappointed, but how do you feel after that battle?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely bittersweet after, the way I pushed. And, I knew from the start of the round that there was definitely an opening. Nobody's invincible in this sport. There's a lot of variables that can happen, so it doesn't matter who you are. I said it before the round, and, I totally had a chance to win, and I even missed some opportunities. So, I definitely had a chance to win. I didn't capitalize, but I knew from the start I had to be aggressive, get a lot of birdies, and that's what I did.
It was almost as if it was written like it came down to another battle between you and Paul. You guys have had a lot of these over the years. Where does this one kind of rank up for you?
Yeah, I think it's just different than normal. I mean, I came up from, I was 13 strokes back at one point, and I ended up losing by one and had almost threw it in the last hole to tie it up. So, I mean, that says something in itself, the fact that, with an infected finger. So, I mean, didn't have full range of motion, and it's really affected me the first couple days. I didn't really talk about it too much, but then it kind of got out there, and it really started. Today was really good. So I think that it's really just showed the first couple days I really struggled, and I don't want to blame it on the finger, but it definitely affected me in a negative way. And those were my worst rounds in the tournament, and that's what really, at this point, took me out of the event. So, who knows what would happen if I had a clean finger, no injuries? But it is what it is, and I'm just happy that I came back and shot 2 course records to finish.
Thanks, Rick. Appreciate the time.
Yeah,
it was a battle, man. It was fun. Thank you. Always appreciate it.
All right, and thank you graciously, Ricky Wysocki, able to come in and give us a little insight. Of course, that finger bothered him throughout the week. There wasn't a lot of chatter about it, but definitely affected him. I'm going to say this. If I could go out and tie a course record with an infected finger, I might want to figure out what bush he stuck his hand into.
Yeah, show me those thorns. I'll hit my hand right now.
All right, we're going to start to close things out. It's been a very long day, as some of you may have noticed for us already, and it wouldn't have been possible without our cameramen hustling around out on the course. Ryan Pilcher, Joey Tamale, Gary to the O, doing everything they could to bring us all of those sights and sounds from out there. Dixon Jowers, the best movie references we could ever ask for.
That's true. You can count on it.
I want to thank Hannah McBeth for joining me earlier in the studio to call the FPO action. And Robert, again, thank you so much for joining us here for the week. Another World Championships in the books.
Yeah,
our
a very exciting one. It's been super cool. I just love getting to be in the booth with you guys and call live disc golf action, or or post produce just any disc golf action. It's fun.
We now have 3 world title commentating titles between us.
We sure do.
We'll make that a thing.
Yeah. We'll wait on the plaques.
We'll die max.
Yeah, that sounds good.
All right. So we're going to officially call it here at the World Championships presented by the PDGA and Infinite Disc. I have to thank Nate Heinold and the tremendous staff and crew that they've assembled here to make all of this possible. I got to thank Johnny V for pressing the buttons back in the studio in Milwaukee, making the live coverage what it was. It was an incredible week. My 38th Worlds in some form, shape, or form in the books. Robert McCall, Terry Miller, the disc golf guy. We'll see you at the next one when you step inside the Smashbox.
SmashBoxxTV would like to thank the following sponsors: the PDGA, Infinite Discs, Discraft, the DGA, Prodigy Discs, the City of Peoria, and all of these other generous sponsors.